And we are back with another episode of From the Rafters. Sam and I are here on Monday, April 4th, the day after the Celtics clobbered the Wizards, and just a couple of days after they won a tight one against the Indiana Pacers. Two good games back to back. Obviously, the Pacers game, they stumbled a little bit, but they closed it out at the end. And then the Wizards game was, just like the February, March Celtics, where they were stomping people left and right. It feels like they're getting a little bit back into the groove of things. I said this on the last show too. The Heat and the Raptors game kind of felt like, to me personally, that they just had to get used to life without Robert Williams. And I think now that they've played a couple games, they're getting back into the swing of things. And you saw that with a 40-point win. But yeah, what do you think of those games?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you. Let's go back to earlier in the week. We'll talk about, we already did on the show, but whatever. Too bad if you're listening. Now we can look at a different view. So the Raptors game, I still think they should have won. Before the game, I really didn't care, but obviously they made it close. They were in position to win. My philosophy is if you're there, cross the finish line. Miami, and also the Toronto game, really, you can't measure that because in terms of progress, getting used to playing without Rob, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Miami is the first time these guys have played without Rob, and they played a pretty good 3 quarters, and they really lost the game on the offensive end. It was not a defensive collapse, at least in my opinion. There was a lot of times in the fourth where I didn't feel confident in them getting stops, but they still only allowed 106 points, and it's 104 before you foul them at the end of the game. They lost because Miami slapped a zone on. They could not do anything. They were panicking, not getting any really good looks, taking a long time to get shots. Okay, so then you lose that. You go into Friday night. You play a Pacers team who is not very good. Halliburton playing out of his mind. He fouls out, which is a break. You get a break. But the dude's literally 11 of 12 from the field for that game. Like, that's unreal.
Yeah,
and the Kings traded him for Sabonis.
Good player. He's a good
player.
The
Kings, by the way, eliminated from any kind of playoff contention.
Yes, sir.
But anyways, that game is close. And I feel like it's almost an abnormality. Like, that game was close, but at the same time, it wasn't close because the Celtics were bad. It was close because I feel like the Pacers were much better than they should have been. There was a lot of times in that game.
They have been playing very, very well since the break, and not all around. They've been a very good offensive team since the break. Right. So I'll just say that. And Udoka said that after the game too. But anyway, sorry, continue.
So anyways, that game is close. And the reason it stayed close is because every chance the Pacers had to make a 3 to keep themselves in the game, they literally did it until the very last shot was a miss. But even before that, they were down 6 with 10 seconds, and the guy made a prayer 3.
O'Shea Brissett,
man. You bet your ass it's him. So you've got all these situations where you could have pulled away, and let's not even act like the Celtics were slouching on defense there, because these are all end of the shot clock, feet behind the 3-point line, chucking the ball. It's going in. I mean, Halliburton obviously unconscious, but the other guys as well. I mean, you had the Tadze, the center there. Of course, O'Shea, Buddy Hield made 1 or 2.
Jalen Smith looks good.
Yep. Jalen Smith had an excellent game. Okay, move on. Sunday, you were there. We can get into that after this. I personally always enjoy the game anecdotes. I hope the listeners do too, because we do them. But you have the Wizards come in. You give up 60 points in the first half, which isn't great. That was one thing. I talked to my buddies. I was like, well, they played good defense. The total is good at the end of the game, which is important. But that game was kind of fast-paced. On the broadcast, they were talking about, I know you didn't have to watch the broadcast. They were talking a lot about, the Wizards are just running up and going. And the Celtics were kind of playing fast too. So that factored in to the scoring. I don't know what the splits were for shooting or, what looks they were getting off the top of my head. I didn't notice a lot of things where I was like, damn, the defense was not good here. It wasn't like the Miami game where you would see guys getting kind of lost in the switches, or the Pacers game where you could be like, okay, they're just hitting a bunch of prayer 3s. There wasn't anything that stuck out to me that they were doing wrong, or, that was BS happening to them. Just kind of was probably fast paced. But in the second half, third quarter, they locked up, absolutely locked up. They turned up, they blew it open. Guys didn't really have to play a lot of the fourth quarter. Throughout this whole time span I'm speaking about, except for Monday because they didn't play. Jalen and Jason have been excellent, and Brown has 25 plus points in 9 straight games, which is a career high. And he's getting hot at the right time. Tatum has cooled off a bit shooting, but unlike early in the season, when he's cold, he doesn't just settle. He was cold on Sunday and he went to the basket. So we're seeing growth is really what I'm getting at
Yeah.
before the playoffs. And you have upcoming a bunch of game or not a bunch. You have 2 games, and then you're going to play Memphis, who is not going to try because they're locked into the second seed. You're going to play those 3 teams: Chicago, Milwaukee, Memphis. The first 2 are going to be kind of test games. I still think Chicago is bad, but you still have to play them. You still have to play the game.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And Milwaukee is going to be the game. That is going to be the game where the second seed probably gets decided.
Yeah.
I am finally done talking.
I tabbed out for half a second to find a graphic that displays how bad the Bulls have been for a second, but
no, they're bad.
No, yeah.
Like they're 1-14 against all 4 of the top teams in the East, and you bet your ass the one is against the Celtics, blowing the 19-point lead.
My I can't. I don't know what to like type in to find the graphic. The graphic basically split up the 4 quarters of the NBA season into net rating, right?
Okay.
Plus minus net rating. Celtics obviously number 1 in the final quarter. The Bulls were a bottom 5 team in the final quarter. They're one of the 5 worst teams in the NBA in this last quarter of the season. They've been atrocious. They can't win games. They can't play defense, and it's been rough. So obviously the Celtics have surged ahead of them. They've surged ahead of the Sixers at this point. Even I think they're a game ahead, so it's not out of the realm that they could fall back. But and the Cavs as well. So yes, I did go to the Wizards game. Shout out to my brother and sister, Grace and Henry, for getting
Henry, by the way, who
I was going to say
said in the pregame, he said, where is he sitting? Or no, he said Jack went, or he said, where's Jack? Yeah. And I said, oh, Jack's at the game. I pulled up on my phone the picture you sent me of where you're sitting. And he says, oh, that's right. I bought him those tickets.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what? He was like, how does Jack always miss these games, SMH? And then I'm like, dude, you're the one who got me the tickets. Why are you roasting me for this? But yeah, I sat balcony. I think first row on the balcony, which I don't usually sit. I usually buy
those seats are excellent.
They're good. The only thing is the glass got in the way a little bit. The glass was a little. We were on like the corner. We were like in the corner section, so like the glass was like it was tall and then short, so you had to like kind of look around it a little bit so it wasn't obstructed. But again, minor, first world problems, as they said. It was great. Regardless, obviously, Celtics blew out the Wizards, so that was great. Watching Neesmith nail threes at the end of the game was electric.
4 in a row.
Yeah, it was great back and forth. And I think who else hit one? Hauser? No, it was Malik Fitz. Malik Fitz hit one.
Malik Fitz hit one. Hauser did hit
and then Hauser lob to Luke Cornett was electric. That was great. I mean, it was just a great day all around. There were a couple foul calls at the Garden, kind of band together and booed the refs. The Wave got going, Sam, a couple times around there.
I don't have strong feelings on the Wave, but I know there are people that do. There are a lot of people that think the Wave does not belong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're really going to do organized crowd stuff, I think songs are kind of cooler, like they do in soccer. But like, I don't expect everyone to be singing songs at the Garden. You get what you get. I think the chants are very good. Always powerful defense chants, very well. Now, when you go to games, Jack, do you have a specific routine that you go through? Do you have restaurants that you go to, or anything you do before you go in?
No, we kind of just take take the red line in from Quincy Adams. We get in, we just go right into the Garden. We get there like 30 minutes to an hour before. We just kind of chill, hang out, watch pregame stuff. Zoe likes to, see what Deuce is up to pregame with Tatum because that's always funny. Watch the warm-ups, watch Marcus take his backward shots.
Trick shots.
Always great. Just look around, players, just chill out before the game starts. Nothing too fun. We've started a routine though. We get for food. We get food at the Garden because I mean it is what it is. We get what'd you say?
The wallets taking a hit.
Fair enough. But we split a barbecue plate from the barbecue stand. That way it's enough food for 2 and it's $25, so it's like $13 a pop for that's like a meal. I mean, for the Garden, that's not bad. You know what I'm saying? Like in the grand scheme of things. So you get pulled pork, you get mac and cheese, you get cornbread, and you get coleslaw. It's very good. It sounds very
I'm out
weird
on
for the Garden, but
coleslaw.
well, you can skip the coleslaw. It's
Yes.
regardless. The mac and cheese and the pulled pork are phenomenal. Yeah, I don't know what it's called. It's like the barbecue stand. Shout out though. That's very good. So we get that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the game was great. Obviously, it was a blowout. The first half, like you said, they were letting up a few too many points. I mean, our main man Ish Smith decided once
Of
again
course. You
to
bet.
be the beast. I think Keith tweeted it. Brad Stevens should just sign him. Just sign Ish Smith. Just get him. Like, come on, sign him to a vet minimum. Make sure he
Well,
doesn't.
it doesn't always work. You saw Fournier, who would play like he was blind.
He doesn't have to play. Don't give him minutes.
Just get him off the other teams. That's
yeah,
fair.
just keep him on the roster. And I feel like Ish Smith's game is different to Fournier's, where it would translate better because he doesn't shoot. Right, he's not a shooter. He just kind of weaves
He
in and out, plays his
creates.
hustle
Yeah.
defense. Yeah, and he was creating. So was Satoransky. Those two were kind of chopping up the Celtics with their assists. There was one crazy pass I saw Ish Smith make the other day. It was like a cross court pass. It was against Celtics. I forget who. I think it was to Caldwell Pope, but yeah, no Kuzma, no Bradley Beal. Porzingis looked terrible. He looked really, really, really bad. I mean, he scored a lot of points, but he was just getting into the paint, and Celtics were defending him well, and he was just chucking up random shots. Couldn't hit a midi. It was rough. He
Not
put up,
sure
I
he's
think,
good.
17.
Not
I think
convinced.
he's overrated. I think he needs to be put in a smaller role. I don't know.
That's
We
what
don't have
happens
to
when
get
you
into
play on the
arguing.
Knicks and you dunk a couple times.
He was really good on the Knicks. Let's
He was
not.
very good. He led him to playoff success.
All right. He was
Also, before we move on, I do want to circle back to the food because you're talking about like the platter.
yeah.
When I went, I've done this a couple times, I think. I got the chicken bucket, but not to share. I got the 10 tenders with the fries, and I just said that's mine.
It's good heaping helping. No, I feel you. I feel you.
Just
It's
because
respectable.
if I'm going to spend money, I want to make sure I'm full. I'm not going to
Yeah.
spend like $10, $15 on like 3 tenders. By the way, the Garden does not have bed fries, but I'm not going to do 3 tenders. No, you got to get the 10, and you don't finish it. You hand it to your buddy and say, "Go nuts."
There you go. We did not get any beers or anything, so the wall didn't break too much. We just kept it.
That's not a problem. I don't drink, so I never even think about that. But that's an excellent point.
I don't really drink much either, but sometimes you're there. It's just the Garden. You got to get a beer when you watch the game. But no, yeah, I mean it was great. As far as the game goes, though, the bench, Sam, that was the story I pulled. The bench was phenomenal. Derek White's hitting shots, Peyton Pritchard's hitting shots, Grant Williams broke his slump. That's what you need from the bench.
You can't have him go into the playoffs in a slump. So seeing him knock 4 out of 4 threes down is a great sign.
4 to
Derek
5.
White,
He
excellent.
did miss one.
Oh, he did miss. Yeah, he started chucking. Pritchard, excellent. Again, Neesmith made 4 threes of his own. Like Neesmith, keep an eye out for him to get run in these last couple games, whether they're resting people or what. I don't know. If he's got confidence, he's definitely a useful player. I mean, he's someone that can defend. Ime Udoka said in that Toronto game that he was guarding Siakam, who had 40 points, which I guess technically doesn't make a good case for him being a good defender. But down the stretch, they trusted him the most to cover Siakam because he'd been doing a good job throughout the game.
And
so
he did a solid job. He did all right.
He's playing defense, making threes is really what they want him to do.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I feel like there's not too much to talk about from the Wizards game. I mean, Jaylen Brown obviously looked phenomenal. Wizards, by the way, just parting the Red Seas for Tatum and Brown to get a couple dunks in there. They're lost, and you can't really blame them because half their team is hurt and they're not exactly a good.
They're
team,
not playing for anything. They have
it is
to
what it
play
is.
for.
That's all I got. I don't want to say sad thing is, but they don't really even have many guys that look like, okay, they could be the next face of the team. Like Hachimura is good. He didn't play great against the Celtics. Abdia is good. He didn't really do much against Celtics either. Porzingis is Porzingis at this point. Caldwell Pope looks really good lately, but he's 29, so I don't think he's going to be the face of anything. Kuzma didn't play. Kuzma's played well. I don't know. There's kind of seeming
he's not
like
playing there. Contract is he's going to go sign for a contender.
Who?
Caldwell Pope.
Pope.
Jeez.
Yeah. I got you. No, that makes sense. I don't know. Is contract up this season?
I don't know. I know nothing of the contracts.
I thought that's what you were saying. Let me look at Wizards payroll.
No, I said I don't
Uh,
know when his I had the good old
oh,
shitternet kick in there, but I don't know about his contract, but I can't imagine he'll be there very long.
next year is partially guaranteed, so he could
Is
be
it?
on at some point. Yeah, I have to imagine the Wizards rebuild here. If they re-sign Bradley Beal, that's just so dumb to me. I don't know, because you're obviously not going to go anywhere even with Beal. Like, just let him walk. Like, let him. You know where Beal's going to go, Sam? We don't have to get too deep into this because I know we can talk about like playoff races,
It's
etc. But
relevant. It's relevant. They played him
where do you
yesterday.
think he'll go? Where do you think Beal will go?
Oh man,
I know the spot.
I don't know a whole lot about like contracts and stuff, like who has cap and stuff like that. I'll throw out a couple places. So I don't think he signs in Washington. I just don't.
No,
I don't see him
I don't think so
sticking around
either.
there. I could see him. I bet you Memphis has space. No, I don't know. Steven Adams, that makes a lot of money.
Well, they could sign and trade. Sign and trades are a thing, so you can realistically pick anywhere.
I could see Memphis. I could see Dallas if they have money.
You know who Dallas is interested in?
Gobert.
I love that for Dallas.
I think Gobert's a bum, but I think it would be good for Luka to
that's what I'm saying. Realistically speaking, you saw how great Russell Westbrook made Steven Adams. You're telling me Luka can't do a similar thing for Rudy Gobert, who's also one of the best interior defenders we've ever seen? And plus, they have better perimeter defenders to put around him than Utah does. Sorry. I think that's a perfect fit. Anyways, back to
Where's
Beal,
he going? Where's he going, Jack? Beal.
Philly.
Ugh.
He's going to Philly.
Do they have money for that?
Nope.
I mean, sign and trade.
You know what they can do?
Trade Harris.
Sign and trade. And what's Washington going to do? Like, they'll take the picks and young players that Philly throws in with it. Exactly. So, and Beal has said he wants to play there, and that was the original plan. Embiid wanted Beal, not Harden. Did you know that? Embiid wanted Beal. He didn't want Harden. I mean, he didn't not want Harden, but he wanted Beal first. And so I think those three will team up in Philly. If
Washington's hands are tied, but I'm not convinced if Beal ends up there that Maxey will still be on that team. Or
possible.
If he is, I'm not sure he's going to be able to fit. Like those two guys to me seem like they're similar players.
They said that about Harden too. They said, "Oh, what's Maxey do?" But Maxey's been great since Harden got there. I mean,
Maxey's playing off the ball, but now you're bringing in a guy to play off the ball.
You play him at the 3.
I don't know. I'm just
Beal
not
at the
convinced.
3. I mean, you need multiple off the ball guys. If I'm Philly, like as crazy as this sounds, you play Tybal at the 4. You play Beal at the it's a tiny lineup, but if you have Embiid and you have
there
and Tybal playing huge,
nice pit stains for me if you're watching.
Other than that, though, I think Portland could potentially end up in Portland. I don't know why. If he wants to play with Dame, it could be a thing. I think
if I'm Portland, I'm getting I don't know. There's morality there. He's given you his career or whatever, but I'm getting rid of Dame. I think you have Simons and you can rebuild, and
that's what I would do, but I don't think Portland will do that. And then the last place was you mentioned Memphis, Dallas. What was I going to say? Clippers. I think Clippers could potentially
if they have money. That was another one I was thinking.
Did,
I'm not convinced Beal is that good. I talked about this in the pregame. Right. He's not. I mean,
he's a second guy. He's number 2.
He's not changing. Well, yeah, if you fit him on the right team, he is.
Exactly.
But I'm saying like he's not going to be a number 1. He's not. I
don't think so.
I don't care if you average. This is well documented. I don't care if you average 30 points a game. Your team's not winning. You haven't made the playoffs since 2018. Or did they? No, they got in last year. I'm sorry.
They did last year. But I'm not saying he's good. But I'm saying Russell Westbrook can be the difference between, and he's not going to make you a championship contender as the one option. But you know what I'm saying? Having that change of pace, controlling, point guard who can run an offense is the difference between the Washington.
In the right spot, he can be effective. Yeah, I think I've tried to stand by that at least. I mean, he sucks on the Lakers, and the Lakers suck, which is great. By the way, 2 games out of 10 now.
Love to see it.
4 games left. I am preparing the tweets. I'm ready.
You'll love to see it.
Andrew Doxey, friend of the show, lit up Lakers film room yesterday.
I saw that.
Oh man.
Brutal.
You hate to see that. I mean, sometimes you go on Twitter and you just get sick to your stomach. And yesterday was just one of those days. I mean, LeBron always very caring of his team.
See what Davis said today?
What do you say? Like if they're healthy, like watch out, pretty much.
He
Like
he,
he
he
would have loved to
basically
see what they could have
he's
done.
like, yeah, I would have loved to see if we were healthy. And someone said, "Do you think you could have won a title if you were healthy?" He said, "Absolutely." I was like,
Oh,
okay.
he's full of shit. But also, not for nothing, like people that get hurt all the time, are they unlucky? Yes. But at the same time, I I have to feel like there's something they're doing, whether it's not eating correctly, not properly, stretching or whatever, like taking care of yourself after a
The
game, cool
lingering
down.
injuries, yes.
Like there is something that you are not doing that could prevent what's happening to you, and you're not doing it. Like I don't know.
It could just be a body thing, though. Some people's
Sometimes you get
bodies just have
unlucky.
like weaker things.
Sometimes you do, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Anthony Davis eats like. And I also know like Tristan Thompson said LeBron eats whatever he wants. Like Tatum eats whatever he wants. So that's not all necessarily true, but not everyone is like a freak like those two dudes
Mhm.
are.
And this
Imagine
isn't
Tatum eating whatever he wants. The dude's like chiseled, like his
yeah.
arms have no fat on him. Like, oh my God, how lucky can you be?
And it's not to say the Lakers weren't like had no I don't want to phrase this incorrectly. Let me finish my sentence because it'll sound bad. It's not to say that they weren't unlucky. Sure, they were unlucky with some injuries, but they wouldn't have been like you can see you saw a good enough sample size with the three of them on the court to know that it wasn't going to work. So
Oh yeah.
sure they were unlucky. Anthony Davis got injured a bunch. LeBron missed a bunch of time. That's about it. There's your two unlucky things right there. But I mean, you had a chance against the Pelicans the other day, and team chemistry. Yeah, I understand that's important because the Celtics had to build it too. But even at the start of the season, like they were never good. They were never like a top seed. They were always hovering around 500, even when they were all healthy. So, I, yeah, it sucks. Like maybe, oh darn, maybe they could have been a 5 seed. Shucks, right? Like,
I mean, this is a
uh,
team that was second behind only Brooklyn as favorites to win the title.
Brooklyn, by
And
the way, Bobby was tweeting this too. Like, why don't they get ragged on? Their season is just as disappointing as the Lakers, almost. Like,
yeah,
rough,
it is. And
rough.
and it's because I said this last year when they went and got Harden, like they traded all their depth away. And plus
Yep,
Joe Harris was out all season.
yep.
But they legitimately traded all their depth away. Like I'm convinced that, I mean, I guess hindsight's 2020, but you're better off having Levert, Allen, those
Yep.
guys coming off your bench than bringing in Harden. Like to me, that just didn't benefit them. Like, sure, it's nice to say you have a third guy, and I also think like Curry is a good piece for them, but they really,
Curry's
as far
great.
as this season is concerned, traded James Harden for Curry and Drummond.
Yeah,
Simmons
which is
Simmons is not playing. He's not going to play. Steve Nash came out and said today,
he's out through the play-in.
Ben Simmons is out through the play-in. He did light basketball activities today.
Yep.
I can do light basketball activities. I mean, I exercise, but like anybody can do light basketball activities. Like you're a professional athlete on a max deal. Figure it out, dog. I'm
So
so happy the Celtics didn't go and get him. We did plenty of discussion about like, trading potentially for Ben Simmons. What would you give up? This, that. Would he be a good fit on the Celtics? Which he might have been,
yeah,
especially the way they play defense now. The dude's not even playing.
mhm. And at that point, like I understand that he wasn't playing for Philly. He has a herniated disc. Like that's not a fun injury. Like obviously you got to get that fixed up. At the
What
same
does he have a
time,
herniated disc from? Sitting on the bench?
I don't know. I think
Putting
reports
on the
came out that
drip to go
no.
courtside with the shades and the chain inside?
Reports came out that he played through it in Philly, but the Nets just want to get it like treated now so he doesn't deal with it for a long time.
Why didn't he
Um,
get it treated when he was just sitting there?
I don't know. I don't. I'm not a doctor. I dropped out of nursing school. Come on now.
That's true. I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about this either. So if I'm sounding ignorant, I apologize. But like, dude, you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs for. Let's see, you knew in August you were going to play for the Sixers again. You get traded in at the deadline in. Is that February or March? February. So
February.
that's at least 6 months. You knew you were going to play. Like, fix it.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, maybe they didn't know. Maybe it was a weird thing. It is what it is. Like at the same time, Brooklyn's hands were tied. Realistically, like it was either at this point, even like disregarding Ben Simmons, like what? Who would you rather have? Like disinterested, half checked in James Harden or Andre Drummond and Seth Curry and multiple first round picks? Like, and that might sound crazy of me, but if Curry's fully locked in, he might even be a better fit than Harden is next to those guys. And that's
No, it
again
makes
crazy,
sense.
but
It
I
makes
don't know.
sense. Fit's a real thing. And also, I guess, yeah, I mean, Drummond does not care about being there, though. Have you seen the things he says? He's like,
About
yeah, dude,
Brooklyn?
like, I'm not going to be here past the season.
Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Why?
That might be fake. And if it is fake, like, I apologize. Like, that I'm spreading.
Where'd you see it?
I think I saw it on Twitter, but April Fool's was last week. But I think I saw it before April Fool's. Let's see. Andre Drummond.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you would say that. I feel like that's like a really good fit for him. Obviously, he's not amazing, but just having like
let's see.
having someone who can grab boards and just a bigger body down low is probably nice for them.
I cannot find. I swear to God, I saw. And if you're listening or watching on YouTube or whatever, like comment, tweet us, like say if you remember seeing this thing, because you not having seen it, Jack, makes me worried. Like I'm like, oh, Jack's
Yeah,
pretty
I don't
dialed in when
know.
it comes to things.
Andre Drummond Nets pass. I'm just gonna Google it. I'm just
I
confused. I don't
I just
remember.
I think I remember hearing him say that or seeing that he said that. I don't know. There's fake
Oh, I
stuff that
see
goes around.
something. All right. He said it March 23rd. Andre Drummond on his future with the Nets. If we're all being honest, I'm only here the rest of the season.
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't
it.
thought about it. Who knows what's gonna happen in the offseason. I think he was just talking, yeah, because he's a free agent this summer. I think he was just talking about that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he was just talking about like I think he was asked about what his plans are in free agency. He's like, I don't know, I'm here to the end of the season. I'll think about it then. Um all right. Yeah, no, I see. It's CBS. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think he fits in well. I think the Dragic injury, which I didn't even realize, that sucks obviously because he was actually playing pretty well for them.
He got
What
hurt
was
when? Seriously injured?
I don't know how serious it was, but I know it was health and safety. Sorry, he's just in health and
Oh,
safety.
he's got the COVID. So does Spoelstra there.
So does Seth Curry. No, not Seth Curry. Sorry. Yeah, Goran Dragic, but he has symptoms, which sucks. So it's not like he's dealing with it. He's actually like struggling. What has he been putting up since he joined Brooklyn though? He's averaging. Oh, never mind. He's not Never mind. He's not shooting the ball well, but he's averaging 5 assists. But yeah, the Nets are still scary. My question to you is, Sam, do they get out of the plan?
To me, it depends where they end up. So, I mean, I watched the whole Atlanta game the other day where Durant scored 55 and they still lost. It was a good
Good
game,
game.
excellent game. So I'll start there. I think Durant, and it's one game sample size, so like take it with a grain of salt. But I think the fact that Durant's and Curry was out. Geez, Sam, get into your point. Durant scoring 55 and you still lose is bad. That's really, really bad.
Yeah.
And it goes back to, what I was saying earlier. Like, I'm not sure it was smart of them to trade all their depth. Kyrie has been not playing well since he went full time. Maybe he's fatigued. He's playing a little bit too much there. He's not used to it.
Do you
But
know what the thing is
also,
for me? Sorry, not to cut you off. It's
no,
the
it's all right.
Lakers and the Nets. Why the Nets do a better job because they play their guys. Just why is everyone so hell bent on just playing veterans? Like, I'm sorry, it's just stop. Like DeAndre Jordan in Philly, stupid. Avery Bradley and DJ Augustine over Malik Monk and Austin Reeves in LA, stupid. Even in Brooklyn, like you've got for half the season you had like hell, who was their center? Who was it? DeAndre Jordan, was he on the team at the start of the year?
Brooklyn, it was
No,
Drummond. DeAndre was
Drummond
there. He was there.
is
He was
last
in
year.
Brooklyn.
Last
No.
year though, not
DeAndre was on that team this year. Oh no, he
no,
wasn't.
because
He
he
was on the
started
Lakers.
in LA. Who was the Nets center at the start of the season?
Drummond. Drummond
Nets
was
basketball.
there.
No, because he got traded there. Remember, he got traded in the Harden deal.
Oh, I'm such a clown.
Yeah,
I
I was like, what?
Claxton was there.
LaMarcus Aldridge. You're playing Aldridge over Nick Claxton.
Did
Like,
they trade? Did they
stop.
waive him? He's still on the
No,
team,
he's
right?
still on the team. He's just not like mobile. Like, I don't understand the whole NBA concept of not willing to play these younger players. Like, look at the Suns as your prime example, people. Like, play your youth and you will have success. Like, and obviously there's exceptions, but like
Memphis.
Kessler. Memphis, Kessler Edwards in Brooklyn, phenomenal season, right? Austin Reeves in LA, he's been one of the few bright spots. Tyrese Maxey, obviously, you give him an
Yep.
opportunity and they're hungry.
Rob,
Like, Robert Williams, perfect. Grant Williams is perfect. Peyton Pritchard and Aaron Nesmith are showing some things now. Like, I'll never understand contenders' need to just like, oh no, we need to play our veterans. Like, we got to like, DeAndre Jordan's done. I'm sorry. Like, stop. Just stop.
I'm not
Stop.
gonna say he's
But
any good. I'll say probably what they're thinking is we have this short window to win with these guys, and we don't want to waste it waiting for these young guys or to see if they can figure it out or not. So in their eyes, not saying it's right, they're like, okay, we'll play these guys that they have been on the floor, and even if they're not as skilled as the young guys, they have the mental aspect of experience. I don't know how
yes,
much sense, and it
but
really doesn't make sense saying it, but that's probably what their thinking is, thought process
yes,
is.
but after watching DeAndre Jordan get lost on 3 defensive rotations, Avery Bradley clunk a bunch of threes. He's actually shot well this season, but I'm just using it to make my point. And LaMarcus Aldridge, limp up the floor. No offense to LaMarcus, but like he's obviously not as quick.
Mm.
How many games in a row you see that and not give Paul Reed, Nick Claxton, and Austin Reeves a chance? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. I don't know. It just seems like they're resistant. And if I'm being honest, will Steve Nash and will Frank Vogel have a job next season? Who knows? Maybe not. Doc Rivers, I assume, will
Vogel's
because the
gone.
Sixers are good.
LeBron's fired him.
Vogel's done. Yeah,
Vogel's gone.
Vogel's done. But
Steve
Steve
Nash might not be gone.
on the bubble, I'd say. Um, I totally cut you off though. I'm sorry. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I was saying they're struggling a lot because, well, they trade all their depth. They
and
traded
they
all
don't
their
play
depth.
defense.
They don't have any defense,
Yeah,
and they're not like if KD is scoring 55 points and you are losing a career high for KD, by the way, who's one of the greatest
crazy.
scorers ever, a career high, you lose the game
Yeah,
to a team that is not a world beating team. They are battling with you in the play-in and you lose to them. Where's your scoring going to come from in a playoff series when teams are
great for the
putting that on
Celtics, by the way.
KD?
Great for the Celtics.
It's excellent.
Beautiful.
We can get into that after this because I
Yes.
do want to talk about all that stuff because I've been very interested in it. You're not getting any scoring besides KD, I said for the millionth time. But again, like you said, they're not playing defense.
No.
Atlanta is a team that thrives on like shooting threes, and everything was easy for Atlanta in that game. They didn't have to work for anything. Kyrie is getting switched on to Gallinari, who was posting him up. Like, it was so easy for Atlanta. And I do believe that in the playoffs, they might flip a switch and play a little bit more defense. Does it mean the defense is going to be good? No, but it's probably going to be more than you're seeing right now. And going back to the initial question, do you think they can win in, or do you think they can get to the play-in? I say yes, and yes because I think Cleveland's bad. It also depends. It depends where they end up. I
Well,
personally, looking at everyone's schedules, specifically Atlanta, I think that Brooklyn is going to get up to 8 again. They play bums. Like they play Houston, then they play New York, then they play Cleveland, and then they play the Pacers. Like those are all games I think Brooklyn should win. Now,
they
will they go
should.
out and win them? I don't know. But I don't feel any kind of, I don't want to say uncertainty because that makes me sound like I really support them. But like with the Atlanta game the other day going in, I was like, Atlanta could win this. I
Mhm.
don't think Cleveland's beating Brooklyn. I don't think New York's beating Brooklyn. I certainly don't think Houston's beating them in the Pacers. I don't know. Maybe the Pacers will. If
Pacers are sneaky.
Tyrese Halliburton plays out of his mind like he did in Boston, they have a chance. That team is a pain in the ass. They're like the
And
Pistons.
so what'd you say the schedule was? Sorry. Cleveland,
So
Houston,
they play
Indiana.
Houston first, then the Knicks, then Cleveland,
Knicks.
and then they close with the Pacers.
Okay, so I think they'll beat the Knicks. I will say about Houston, Houston scores a lot of points. They can score the ball. They also don't play defense, but
That game is tomorrow, Tuesday.
that's going to be a very high scoring game. The Nets should win, and I think they will win. But don't sleep on the Rockets. I think it's been 2 out of their last 3 games. They've had at least 2 guys score 30.
They
So
win.
like I think they won. No, I think they lost by 3 in both of them. I think they, but they were good games. I think they lost by 3 in each of them.
Okay.
Or lost by like less than 10 in each of them. They kept it close.
I mean, I'd love to see Brooklyn
Yeah.
end up in those lower seeds because
My thing
then
is,
go ahead.
yeah. No, sorry. You can't finish the thought.
Okay. Then if they are the lower seeds, then it does become a real possibility that they will not get in. And if they do get in, they're not going to be higher than 8, which we can, segue into the Celtics a little bit
Yeah.
after we finish our thoughts.
Yeah.
But if the Celtics end up at 2, they don't have to worry about it. And they're likely going to get after seeing this season, the way they played Atlanta, I don't love the idea of playing Atlanta because they're such a pain in the ass. But at the same time, like the Celtics are kind of a different team. And the last 2 times they did play Atlanta, they took care of them
won.
pretty well.
They did.
But like Charlotte, like that's a team I think is still a little bit of a pain in the ass, but I think they can take care of them. Like
both much better than Brooklyn.
If somehow Cleveland like wins that first game,
okay,
like Cleveland is bums.
I'll say this.
That's a sweep. I'll say it right now. If they play Cleveland in the first round, it's going to be a sweep.
Cleveland is not great anymore because of their injuries, but they're
that's
not.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying
they're not
a bum. I'm not saying Sexton's a bum.
My point is
Jared Allen back?
Jared Allen's not back and Sexton's hurt.
I'm not saying he's a bum either. Like they're all good players. They're injured and they're beat up.
They have. My point is they have an all-star.
And chew on that, Lakers, saying health.
Yep, they have an all-star. They have an up-and-coming rookie. They have young, hungry guys. They're better than the Washington, Indiana tier, obviously.
I agree.
I don't think they're on the level of the Raptors anymore. I think they're probably still on the level of the Bulls. And I still think they're around the level of Atlanta and Charlotte. Atlanta might scare me more because they have Trae Young, but I think as a team, they're on the same playing field. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Brooklyn doesn't get in the playoffs. I think in a 1-game series, Atlanta can beat them, just as you saw. I think Charlotte can beat them, just as you saw. And I don't think it's crazy to think in a 1 game, Cleveland can beat them. I'm not saying it's likely.
I'm just not convinced that happens. And
I'm not saying it's likely, but
the difference is if they're 9 or 10, okay, maybe they miss it. I don't think they're going to lose
twice
straight games to that bunch of teams.
Mm-hmm. No, I got you. And I think that is why it's crucial that for the Celtics' sake.
Specifically because I don't think Cleveland's dropping past 8. And I think Cleveland's the worst of the bunch. So if they get 8, they're kind of like given a layup at the beginning.
I don't think Cleveland's the worst of the bunch.
Who's the worst of the bunch? Charlotte?
Yeah, but I think it depends on I think it's which Charlotte you get because Charlotte's very streaky. I think if it's good Charlotte, they're probably a little bit better than Cleveland, but I don't. If it's the bad Charlotte,
Cleveland right now, even with all their injuries, you think Charlotte's worse?
Like I said, it depends on what Charlotte, but yeah.
Okay.
I like Cleveland. I think they're good. But anyways, we can talk about the standings.
Yes.
Celtics are currently sitting at second, 2 games behind the Miami Heat, which I think that's probably out of the realm of possibility getting that 1 seed. You needed to win that game against Miami and you didn't. It's fine. And right now, it's kind of looking like that was
the way we're
good.
talking. Listen, we went on this show like 2 weeks ago or last week, whenever, and we're like, it doesn't matter who they play. Like, even if it's Brooklyn, like they shouldn't be trying to avoid them, which I stand by. You shouldn't be losing games on purpose at this point. If you want to rest guys, fine. But I right now feel like it's very important to get the 2nd seed. You want home court through the first 2 rounds.
And you have the tiebreakers over both Milwaukee and Philadelphia, if I'm correct. So
yes.
The Celtics now control their own destiny, I believe. I think
wholeheartedly. If Celtics win every game, actually, if the Celtics win their next 2 games, they will get the 2nd seed.
Huge. And that's not to say that they'll be easy games. I think you should take care of Chicago. Milwaukee will be a tough one, obviously.
Milwaukee is going to be a game.
Mm-hmm. But the last game of the season is Memphis too, so that's not easy either. But yeah, it'll be a tough end of the season. 3 road games too. If the Celtics went out there, the 2nd seed, I think the Heat have locked up the 1st seed unless they collapse here. Bucks and Sixers are fighting for 3-4, and if I'm being honest, I think they're fighting for who gets to play Chicago and who has to play Toronto. Realistically speaking, right?
It's a good point. It's an excellent point.
I've said this, Sam. I've said this ever since we started to see the Celtics rise. I do not want to play Toronto. I do not want no part of Toronto.
Well,
simply because
you don't want to play Toronto in the first round. Now, if you said, "Hey,
yes.
Jack, do you want to play Milwaukee, Philly, or Toronto?" You'd say Toronto.
Of course,
Yeah.
but I'm talking potential first round matchups. Toronto is by far the one I do not want to play outside of obviously Brooklyn, but you know, um, they play tough. It's why because Nick Nurse will play all his guys
Oh,
45 minutes
he's
a
an
night.
irritant.
He's great coach. He's great coach, and I've said I hate to play against him, but I love him as a coach.
Not stand that guy.
Toronto's annoying. And that's the best word to say. Toronto is annoying. You don't want to play him in a 7-game series. You'd rather play Chicago. You'd rather play Cleveland. You'd rather play Atlanta. You'd rather play Charlotte. I'm not going to go as far as to say I'd rather play Brooklyn because I think that's a little crazy. But yeah, it's very tough. It's gonna be a tough one. That being said, though, Brooklyn doesn't play any defense, and the Celtics are the best offense since the All-Star break.
Yes, which is not something you thought you'd be saying. I mean, I
Oh,
guess
no.
well, Sam, you didn't think you'd say any of this at the beginning of the season. Yeah, but like
True.
the offense was like really what was bad. We were literally out here like, well, like what they're doing is okay, but like they all can't shoot. So
Yeah.
what are they going to do? And now
Yeah.
everyone can shoot all of a sudden, which is fantastic. So they are the number one offense. Tatum got his head out of his
Yes,
ass.
they are.
Grant consistently good from 3 after that slump. He's made 4 or 5 if you want to
Derek
start
White.
the count. Derek White has found his footing. Pritchard, since Schroeder's been traded, has been excellent. Jaylen Brown really has looked great off the dribble, shooting the 3. He's been doing that little size up and then the pullback, and that looks like something he's very comfortable doing. Horford has taken a step up. I actually want to see Horford's 3-point percentage for the year. You don't have to look it up. I'm already on the website.
Oh, let me guess. For the season or since?
I want to see what he brought it up to for the season.
For the season, if I had to guess, it's probably hovering around 34. If I had to guess, it may be 33.
Oh,
It could be
32.6.
Okay.
Not as great as I thought.
I was close. 34.
Tatum 35%.
There you go.
Brown 36.
There you go.
Schroeder's not on the team. Smart 32.2.
Perfect.
Richardson is not on the team anymore. Grant 41.8.
Beautiful.
Tice 30. Pritchard 41 now.
Well, Tice on the Celtics though. That's a very big difference. What's Tice since joining the Celtics?
I don't know.
You can click his name. It'll show the split.
I'm on ESPN. I'm not an NBA.
Oh, I'll look it up. Anyways,
you can do going. I forgot Jabari Parker was on this team. Neesmith. Oh, never mind. That's Cantor that had 40%. I misread that. Jeez, they've had a lot of guys on this team.
Tice is 30% since the Celtics. So
okay.
No, I mean the whole Celtics roster is shooting the ball average, which is crazy. Like if you look at them on the season, let me look at where they rank. I bet they're not even that far down on the list of 3-point shooting, like percentage wise, because the numbers have down this year. The Celtics are the middle of the pack, number 15 in the NBA when it comes to 3-point shooting percentage. That's really not as bad as you'd think.
No.
Miami's number 1, Atlanta's number 2, Clippers number 3, and then out of all playoff teams, the worst team in the NBA is the Mavericks. And the Celtics are 35.2 on the year. That's pretty bang average, if you ask me. So
it's not bad. Can't complain too much, especially considering the first half of the season they had, which was not good.
Yeah. But anyways, back to playoffs. We can wrap it up though. I don't think there's too much more to talk about. Who are you looking for? I mean, probably Cleveland, from what you're saying.
If I could have any team in the first round, it'd be Cleveland. It's going to be a sweep. It's not going to be close.
Okay.
No, seriously, like I don't think it'll be close. I'm not.
As in,
this is not
even
Green
the
Team or Sam. I don't think that team is good. I've been paying attention to the standings lately because they've played a lot of games that have been important for, the Brooklyn race or other teams around the Celtics.
I really wanted them to beat Philly. I really wanted them to take
Philly. To their credit, that was a close game.
That was a good game.
Is better than I thought they would give in a playoff series. But they are losing a lot of games right now. And that's what it's based off. It's not like, do I think Jared Allen and Mobley and Garland are bad players? No. I think they've been good as a team this season. Lately, they haven't been beating anyone. So why be scared of them? Next, I'd probably I guess we're picking from the play-in teams now. But
Charlotte.
I guess you would want Charlotte, and then Atlanta, then Brooklyn. And then Chicago would be fantastic too if they fall to 6, which they are right now.
They are 6, but I'd rather get 2. I want home.
Oh, I want 2 as well. But
I want home court over
if
Milwaukee.
You do fall to 3, which I think they might. I'm not sure they win in Milwaukee on Thursday. If they
Yep.
do, not sure. Then you would have an easy matchup there as well. I don't think Chicago's anything. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Wednesday. Chicago
Wednesday.
will be on a back-to-back after playing who else but Milwaukee
Yeah, and you guys will be listening to this
tomorrow.
Tuesday, Monday. Today's Monday for us, but my ideal playoff situation, I think this is for you. Celtics get 2.
Yep.
Cleveland win their game, get 7. Celtics play Cleveland, and then absolute worst case scenario, the Celtics. I mean, it will happen. The Celtics play Bucks or Philly in the second.
They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to put the big boy pants on.
Oh, unless Miami magically collapses, Milwaukee surges in the first, but I just don't think that's.
I have no interest in playing Miami. I'd rather play either of the other two teams.
Really? What a turnaround for
you. Not from a Celtics winning standpoint, but I don't want to watch it. I don't want to do that. Yeah, that game last week pissed me off so much.
I told you.
Between Lowry and Jimmy Butler falling down on a jump shot. Bam was excellent in that game, and he was a big difference maker, who, again, I think is the best player on that team by far. And, then they got all those guys running out. I mean, Hero's annoying. Duncan Robinson was off. Strus was excellent. I mean, they're just such a deep team, man. They're really well put together, and they play well together. I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather watch. And ideally, for viewership and what I would enjoy watching, I'd like to see him play Milwaukee.
Yes, I agree.
Because I don't want to watch him beating hard and shoot a bunch of free throws.
But who do you think the Celtics have the best chance against out of those two?
Oh man,
I still think Milwaukee.
We'll see Thursday. We have another game to sample size. If they win Thursday, I'll feel a lot better about it.
They just play Milwaukee really well.
They do. They have for the last 2 seasons. They only lost 1 game last season. That's because Tice missed a game winning 3 at the buzzer. They lost Christmas this year because they crapped themselves in the fourth quarter.
And as crazy as it is, the reason they play Milwaukee and Philly so well, answer the question for me. You know who it is? One man.
Is it Rob?
It's Al Horford.
Yeah, well, Horford is excellent.
They play him so well.
When you said Philly, I should have been smart enough to say Al.
He guards Embiid well. He guards Giannis well. And by the way, if they get to the second round, knock on wood, Rob could be back, right? And that'd be huge. And
every sign in person that is talking about Rob points to him being back sooner rather than later.
He was hyped.
Brad Stevens on the radio last week said Rob was walking around the practice facility. Does not mean he's running, jumping, doing any kind of training. But he was walking. You are also looking at, so he is, well, let's see, he had surgery last Thursday, I think, or Wednesday. Wednesday he did because I was working. So that'll be 1 week on Wednesday before they play Chicago. Then the next week we'll be playing games. Then the week after will be first round. And then, you're getting close to him coming back.
Yes, sir. And like you said, even Woj was saying, it could be even shorter than those 4 to 6 weeks they mentioned. So, knock on wood, we shall see. I'm very hyped for Rob to come back. I mean, I don't know what else there's to say. I think,
team.
I forgot what I was going to say, so I was stalling. Joel Embiid on JJ Redick's podcast.
I was going to say this as well. Excellent, Jack. Well done.
You see what he was asked? He was did. Who defends you well? And he kind of went around and
he said nobody.
He said nobody, which, to be fair, is true. No one really defends. No one can stop Embiid. No one can stop Embiid. But when he was like, well, people point to Al Horford, and sure, Al Horford, but they always send doubles, and they do. They send help because Embiid is great, but the Celtics defend him well, and the fact that he said out of anybody in the league, he pointed to Al Horford, that should tell you, Embiid's not scared of Al Horford. Obviously, I don't think.
I think that's bulletin board material for Embiid. Not that I really care. I still think Horford does an excellent job, and there were a couple games where he did this season. Though one of the games they lost was Cantor.
You know who else guarded him well in that game?
Who's that? Tice?
Say my boy's name. Yes, sir. My boy Grant Williams. He held his own. Did it against Cat. He did it against Joel. He did it against Joker, the Giant Killer. That's the name. That's what I will call it.
The Batman.
The Batman.
Joker.
Giant Killer. What a beast. Anyways, that's all I got for today. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up before we get on out of here?
Nah, man, we did 50 minutes on
Yes, sir.
quick turn. We'll give you 2 this week.
Yes,
Maybe we
sir.
can do that
Hopefully.
before
I
Jack
hope
goes on
so.
vacation if the games align for. Well, I guess
Yes,
next week
sir.
we really won't have any reason to do 2. We'll probably do one early in the week.
Yep.
And then,
And
I
then,
don't know. We can react to the play-in and stuff. We'll see.
yeah, we'll try our best. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate it as always. Go Celtics. That's all I gotta say. 3 tough games. Like I said, Chicago hasn't been playing well, but other than
The
that,
Memphis game is not going to be tough. If they want to win that, they'll be able to win.
why?
Memphis isn't going to play anybody. They're locked into the second
Okay.
seed. They're not playing a soul.
Yeah, they're still winning though, regardless.
They're not bad. But even the
No, but
guys that are winning them games now, I don't think are going to see a lot of time in that last day of the season game.
but they sat Dylan Brooks, John Morant, Tyus Jones, Jaren Jackson Jr. or not Dylan Brooks. They sat like 5 of their starters and they still beat the Suns the other day.
Okay. Well, I mean,
My point is they'll probably be sitting a lot of people, but don't count
I
out
hope the
Grizzlies
game's
regardless.
meaningless. I hope the game's meaningless.
Yes, so we'll hope
But
they beat
at the very
Chicago,
least,
Milwaukee.
you're absolutely right. Well, I don't know. Chicago, we'll see. They'll be on a back-to-back, and I think they're bad anyways. But that Milwaukee game is not going to be a joke.
Huge, yes. And hey, hopefully the Celtics can win these first 2 so they themselves can sit guys for that Memphis game. Bench them, bench everybody.
Agree.
Sit everybody. I don't care. Sit Tatum, sit Horford, hell, sit Pritchard. Play Matt Ryan 40 minutes. Let him play.
Play all the boys they look like they picked off the street. Play
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give Malik Fitz the starting job so he can do his celebrations. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it, and I'll throw it over to Sam.
Yeah, thank you guys very much for listening or watching. If you're watching on YouTube, you're probably on Guy Boston or Bannertown. If you are, subscribe. If you're on Guy Boston, you can always catch us before just about every game. Once in a while, we have a day where the stars align and no one can do it. But we do the pregame. It's always a lot of fun. The chat is usually pretty lively. It's an assortment of Jack, me, Tim, and KJ. You'll get probably 3 of us, at least 2, and it's always a blast. If you're listening on a streaming service, follow us. That way you don't have to wait till Jack tweets out the pod to find out if it's new or not. And yeah, follow Jack at Jacksimone NBA. He's always doing things, writing. He's writing everywhere. If you're on a website, you might see his name. And you can follow me at Sammy France Audio. That's our show for today.
Tic-tac-toe.